this House believes that homosexual marriages should be legalized, while on the side of the opposition, they believe that homosexual marriages should not be legalized. We will now call on the Prime Minister to present their case.
Good morning, first and foremost to Ma'am Jen, and to the members of this House, Mr. Chair, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I rise today in support of the position that homosexual marriage should be legalized. What is straight? A line can be straight or straight. But a human heart? Oh no, it's curved like a road through mountains. What is your sexual orientation? My sexual orientation? Our sexual orientation. Usually, you can't even think straight. Let's get one thing straight. Are you straight? Okay. Same-sex marriage is defined as a union between two people who are of the same gender or biological sex. Since 2001, 10 nations and other jurisdictions have made this type of union legal. As of November 7, 2012, gay marriage has been legalized in 9 U.S. states and the District of Columbia. The individual has always had to struggle to keep them from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be lonely often, and sometimes private. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. And that is why I stand today before members of this House and before the people of this institution to say and present to you the arguments which should pull down most of the points of our dear opposition. We stand here to be respected by all means, Mr. Chair. Now, ladies and gentlemen that come to hear the legalization of homosexual marriage, what do you have in mind? For some, it would be too absurd for you to respond. And for some, yes, I can now marry my sister. Now, that's an absurd conclusion one could make. It is an out-of-place argument, simply because the conversation that should be set upon here is same-sex marriage, which calls for marriage equality. Conversations about polygamy, incest, monogamous, or some of the conversations we might or might not take into consideration here. But no, let's take to what the conversation is supposed to be about. Same-sex marriage indeed. Now this government is about answering the question that we are tasked to answer, is that why should same-sex couples should be allowed to get married? First point of analysis, citizens of a society carry the burdens and benefits that are being distributed to them, just like a same-sex couple that carries the burdens of society. In the same way that straight persons carry the burdens of society. Now, what are some of the burdens of society? They pay their taxes, they are members of public services, they are in education, they may pay healthcare, and of course, they give to charity, so on to this. They carry the benefits of society, just like the rest of us carry the benefits of society. Now, if you were wondering why these gay people should participate in the benefits of society, well, the answer is because they carry burdens just like the rest of us. And marriage is one of the benefits of society, for it is one of the basic civil rights of men. And those who are already married, they enjoy the merits and rights of society. And because we are all carry equal measure of burdens, and they should also participate in equal measure of benefits. For me, gay marriage does no harm. And making it legal may even be beneficial since it seems to raise marriage rates, reduce abortions, and reduce the chance for children to sit down. There is hardly any type of behavior or action that could not seem to cause harm to others, because harm is being defined to include disliking or despising the behavior or action. Mr. Chair, this is not an economically acceptable view of harm. For our purposes, harm occurs only if there is actual societal damage done. It may be too early to tell exactly what the effects of laws regulating same-sex marriage are, but micro-level studies of the impact of such laws in single nations or in U.S. states and countries biases their results in favor of a low-impact finding on negative externalities. Yet, it is actually found that when states approve gay marriage, there is beneficial impact for 3 out of 5 outcomes. No negative externality would result from marriage being open to same-sex couples, and there may even be external benefits from legalizing it. We should re-examine our policies in this arena and work toward a more equitable, efficient, and judicial legal framework that enables all citizens access to rights of marriage. Instead of focusing, Mr. Chair, and members of this House, on the genders of couples, we should focus on the love that two should share. When it comes to marriage, love should be the only factor that matters. Just because many people don't agree with the choice doesn't mean we should have to suffer a life of happiness. Plenty of heterosexual couples get married, even though everyone in their life disagree. Everyone should be granted the right to love, no matter who it is.
Hear, hear.
Many might say that allowing same-sex couple to get married will ruin the sanctity of marriage. I disagree. Marriage is traditionally recognized as a union between a man and woman, but there is no such thing as traditional marriage anymore. We can go so far as praising celebrities by dedicating countdowns and congratulating them on big divorce annulment settlements, just like last year Kardashian's marriage was at the top of every news headline because her marriage only lasted 72 days. Thirdly, legalization of gay marriage becomes law, religious freedom be less and fully protected. This is demonstrably untrue, ladies and gentlemen. No religious house will those who disagree with same-sex unions be compelled to perform them. That is why the legislation is about civil marriage and not religious marriage. The guarantee of religious freedom is broad enough to protect religious officials from being compelled by the state to perform civil or religious rites. Religious leaders who preside over marriage ceremonies must and will be guided by what they believe. Each of one of you, ladies and gentlemen, we all have individual faiths. We all be influenced by our faith, but we also have an obligation to take the widest perspective, which is to recognize the rights of each and every one.
Hear, hear.
Same-sex marriage has been an issue in the Philippines for a long time now. But since we live in a predominantly Christian country, people simply avoid further discussion of such. According to the 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, Article 2, Section 6, the separation of the church and the state shall be inviolable, meaning no matter how grave the social issue may be, the church can never contradict the decision of the government and vice versa. It has been widely understood that the Roman Catholic Church will always be against same-sex marriage, considering the fact that their beliefs and principles are based on sacred scripture. Point is, we should not depend on the church alone. Rather, we should also take note of the privileges that the government has been proposing to satisfy our rights as humans and citizens of this country. If heterosexual couples can marry, why homosexual couples cannot?
Hear, hear.
Why do we always say to push religion to laws? I didn't hear religion, but the fact is religion is keeping us apart from progress. Goodness, it even says wearing condom is an abomination.
Shame.
People, wake up. A true Catholic is someone who sees truth and does not use the name of the Lord for discrimination. Now, what you don't like about zealots is they act and talk as if they have a VIP ticket to heaven. Now, before any of you agree, and then I suggest you first critically think why gay marriage is such a hack in our generation, rather than assuming sex prejudices. We are all Homo sapiens.
Hear, hear.
And should be entitled to marry who we wish if we love them, be it a man, woman, and woman. Mr. Chair, ladies and gentlemen, members of this House, if we do not step forward, then we step back. If we do not protect our right, then we deny it. Mr. Chair, members of this House, together as a nation, together as citizens, let us step forward. This is not even prejudicial to the rights of any person. What on hell will you be deprived of when the only call of this people is equality before the law? I respect you.
Okay, thank you. May we now call on the leader of the opposition to present their arguments and respond to the arguments of the person.
Morning, Mr. Chair, members of this House, and also the motion. Before anything else, I would like to show some comments on the Prime Minister's opening speech for the government side. Now first, the burden shall be equalized by the benefits. What is the relation in saying that by carrying the burdens given by the society will now give way to the legalization of homosexual marriage? The Prime Minister, Mr. Chair, members of this House, failed to give us a clear connection between legalization of homosexual marriage and the carrying the burdens given by the society. Second point, the Prime Minister also failed to explain why is it beneficial for the society to raise marriage rates and what can we gain from such increase in marriage rates. Also, the produce out of same-sex marriage. Third point, the Prime Minister also said that there are external benefits of legalizing homosexual marriage, but then she again failed to give to this House what are those external benefits she is talking about. Now, Mr. Chair, with all due respect to the Prime Minister, I believe that she failed to give to this House the essence, or why is it important for us, or why is it needed to legalize homosexual marriage. Now, with this, Mr. Chair and members of this House, let me give you the stand of the opposition regarding this matter. We strongly believe that the homosexual marriage should not be legalized for the following reason. First, legalizing same-sex marriage will give less to non-benefits or gains to the government and to the society. Second, the purpose of homosexual marriage is different to the true purpose of marriage. Third, Philippines is simply not yet prepared for such legalization. Now, first point. Opposition side, Mr. Chair and members of this House, believes that legalizing same-sex marriage would give less to no benefits at all to the society and to the government. Can any member of this House give me a concrete benefits we can extract from such legalization of homosexual marriage? Can we gain benefits, or can we directly gain benefits from it? No, of course not. Will it help the government generate an ample amount or a huge amount of income? Of course, no. Is it an answer to poverty and corruption? Definitely no. Then if same-sex marriage does nothing good to the society, Mr. Chair and members of this House, then why bother legalizing it? Now, second point. The purpose of homosexual marriage is different to the true purpose of marriage. Why do people get married? Isn't it for the purpose to allow the desire for an individual to have a family and raise their own child? Now, in our case, if we are going to allow same-sex marriage, how can you possibly raise your quote-unquote own child if you cannot in the first place produce one? We have to admit, affirmative side, that homosexuals get another third person to copulate with them, get the child, and then claim it as their fruit of their marriage. Now, where is the true purpose and essence of marriage? You see, Mr. Chair, members of this House, why is there a need to marry God through marriage if they cannot even stand on the very purpose of true marriage, and in the near future does an act or do acts that will violate one way or another the rules of marriage? It will only violate the sanctity of matrimony. Now, third, and the last thing before I rest my case, Mr. Chair and members of this House, the country is simply not yet prepared for such thing. Unlike US and other first world countries, which have an adequate resources and a society of liberal thinkers, we here in the Philippines lack of adequate resources. And of course, we all know a society of conservative minds. That tends to slow down the process of any proceedings, whether it may be in executive, legislative, or judicial branch of the government. Now, we all know that we cannot easily brought up this kind of topic in our system, since our government is focusing more on primary problems of the society, which is poverty, lack of education, and of course, corruption. Now, also the impact cannot be easily handled by the society, since we Filipinos are still sensitive when it comes to such topic, and it will bring many things, or it will change many things that will confuse the people and the society